Yo, so today I wanted to talk about my songwriting process. Starting out with a beat, maybe turning it into a song, or just keeping it as a beat. I thought this would be a pretty interesting topic to talk about. Most people don't think about it or know at all how that process works. So I use Ableton, which I feel like is one of the better digital audio workstations, at least of the few that I've used so far. This one has been the best sounding. So usually I'll start out with just like a simple loop of some kind, and there's a ton of different stuff you can do to it. You can change octaves, you can put effects on it, you can reverse it, you can change the tempo of it, you can do all kinds of things. And so I'm not that musically inclined to the point where I know scales and chords and stuff like that. Like, I don't play guitar, I don't play piano. I pretty much just play drums. So I start out with a loop, and then I'll try to find things in that same key or something that just sounds good with that. So usually I'll start out with like a main lick or a main hook for that first sample, and then I'll find, usually bass is like the second thing that I'll find out because it needs to groove. So I'll find bass, usually something in that key or something that is in a different key but still sounds like it'll work. And then I'll pretty much just build it on top of that. I'll usually add anywhere from 3 to 5 different layers, and doubling things as well kind of makes it have like a thicker sound. So I'll kind of build it that way. Figure out the tempo. That's kind of another tough thing. Is like the feel of it has to be good. It can't be too fast. It can't be too slow. So it has to be kind of right in the middle to where it can groove, especially if I'm playing over it on the kit. So I'll kind of do that. I'll add some effects. I love experimenting with effects like reverbs and delays and EQs and filters and all that stuff. So Ableton's great with their plugins for all that stuff. So yeah, I'll usually experiment for a while, figure out something that sounds good enough to play over, at least something that I feel comfortable playing along to. So I'll usually add bass, and then I'll add some like touching elements. Usually just kind of the same thing. It's really just loops. All it is just loops all the way, finding things that sound good with it. It takes a lot of time because there's so many samples on Ableton. Really, a lot of it is just filtering through sample after sample after sample after sample, and then just having the patience to wait for something that sounds good with the creation. So come up with, I don't know, 3 to 6 layers, maybe something like that. And then I'll usually play over it. Sometimes I'll add effects to the drums as well. I don't think people really understand how much work it takes just to do one of these like 30 to 60-second reels or videos. It's days and sometimes weeks of preparation, of experimentation with different effects and different tempos and all kinds of stuff, and kind of learning the beat as well. But for the most part, I'll set the beat up. I'll get a good idea of it, transitions, maybe some accents there that I can add on the kit when I'm playing along to it. So really what I do is I'll get the drum sound to my liking, to my ear, all the levels good. If things are too loud or too quiet, it just doesn't sound good. So all that is a huge process as well. Usually what I'll do is just sit on the kit and I'll hit record, and I'll play it until I get a take that I feel comfortable with and feel confident in, so that people, I think people feel it. So that can take a long time. Sometimes I'll get it, some days I'm on, some days I'm not on. It's just about making it work, on that particular day if I have the time, and like I have to get it that day, right? So anywhere from 10 to 50 takes sometimes. Sometimes I'm doing it for hours, you know, take after take after take just to get it. But getting the take is not as difficult as cutting the video. And I had a recent comment on my Instagram. One of the guys who I follow, he does kind of the similar videos, but he doesn't match the audio with the video. Like he doesn't take the wave or the MP3 and put it on the video to where it's actually audio from the digital audio workstation. So he just plays it through a speaker, kind of like how I did when I first started doing videos. I would just put the phone in front of the speaker and I would do it that way. It was so much easier that way. But it doesn't sound as good. The quality is not nearly as good as it would be if you took it separately from video to audio. So that's usually the biggest obstacle usually with doing any of these videos, is matching the audio with the video. It's very difficult. It's got to be perfectly on point. And if it's early, you don't want people to like see something before or you don't want someone to hear something before they see it. That's a little off-putting, I think, to most people, especially not the lay music listener who's going to be, I guess like the target audience for stuff like that. So yeah, it'll take a lot of time to cut things and make it sound good. And then there's also the obstacle of posting it to a social media platform. So going back to the effects thing, when you add one of those videos that has audio on it as well, when you post it to Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, that social media platform is automatically going to add compression to the video. So a lot of times if there's, this is a little bit advanced, most people aren't going to know exactly what this is, but high end, low end, and your mids are part of an EQ process. And so if your high end is too high with the original mix before you post it onto Instagram, it's going to sound like shit pretty much, because when you post it, the compression is going to add high end to it already. And if the high end is too high, then it's going to sound really filtered and almost kind of just bad to the ear. And that happens a lot. Usually high end things are more like cymbals and hi-hats and stuff like that. It's not really the drums or the snares or the toms. It's usually cymbals have the high end, kind of that crisp sound. But that's another obstacle that happens a lot. I think something will sound good, and then I'll post it, and I'll be like, "Oh man, it sounds like shit," because they added that extra high end with the compression when posted to a social media platform. So that's always a struggle to do that. But the whole process is pretty lengthy, and it takes a lot of work and a lot of effort and a lot of free time that I don't always have to do it. So just kind of wanted to touch on like the basic process of making beats and kind of the creative process of how I do things. So I'm going to be posting these videos on this channel now. Lost my phone a while back, so I'd lost access to that other channel. So I'll just post it on here. So yeah, if you have any questions, comments, anything like that, just leave them down below. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.